To an early 7-0 lead when quarterback Caleb Herbert passed to wide receiver Cody Zimmerman, and it would continue from there. They would find the end zone again as Daniel Wood ran the ball 32 yards to put the Hawks up 14-0 in the first. The quarter would continue the scoring as Herbert found wide receiver Noah Burdick for a touchdown. This would put the Hawks up 21-0. The Hawks' dominance continued with a 37-yard rushing touchdown from Conor Collimore, who racked up a total of 162 rushing yards on the night, making the score 44-0. To play to their fullest potential, but when it came to game time, the opponent would prove to be more difficult. To the second quarter, where Williamsfield would strike first on a 9-yard touchdown run by Kendrick's Kyshawn McKenzie-Lurie, putting the Blackhawks up 7-0. Appearing all but defeated, the Blackhawks would answer back with a 2-yard rush by Jaden Thompson to put the score at 21-14. They were stopped, and a clear fumble out of the end zone seemed to seal their fate, but the officials marked the receiver down, giving them one last chance at the 1-yard line. One out, and the Blackhawks season came to an end, losing 21-14 against Notre Dame Prep.
Reporter Trey Bates has the story of one mother that has dealt with this unfortunate circumstance. Trey?
As the weather begins to change in the Valley of the Sun, accidents in water continue to happen. And when it came to this mother, she wasn't prepared for what happened next. The day started just like any other for Eliza Casares Hart, that quickly turned to tragedy.
It's too quiet. Where is he? Where is he? And I looked in his hiding places in the garage, underneath the bed. And that's when I opened up the sliding glass door and I saw him down at the bottom of the pool.
Her son, Eric, and his twin brother had been playing at their grandmother's home in Peoria, and what was a normal day turned into every parent's worst nightmare. Devastated by the day's events, she had nowhere to go until the Drowning Prevention Coalition of Arizona reached out to her.
It gave me another outlet. I felt, that first year in a cloud of darkness. I didn't know what else to do. I wanted to protect my other 2 children. I didn't want them to have the same thing happen to them. It finally gave me a chance to tell my story and know that there's people out there that are passionate about preventing this.
The Drowning Prevention Coalition's website includes reports from January 1st to September 30th where 4 deaths to children under the age of 6 have already occurred, a jump from the previous year in which only 1 child had died in Maricopa and Pinal counties. President Melissa Sutton shared what steps to take to avoid this from happening to anyone else.
A is for adult supervision. That's going to be active, sober, vigilant, and constant, because it just takes a few seconds for a child to slip away, and that's when bad things happen. B is for barriers, and that's going to be your fences, your alarms on the doors, covers over pools. It's going to be a plethora of different selections that people have out there. And then the C is multi-pronged. It's for classes and U.S. Coast Guard approved life vests. We want kids to get started as soon as possible. They've got those swim lessons, so when that motivated child, that highly motivated child, gets past whatever barriers you've put in place, if they fall in, they potentially could save themselves in that situation.
With these steps in mind, as well as remaining attentive around water, John Hinman, director of the EVO Swim Schools, shared his thoughts on child safety.
Never be more than an arm reach away. Always have eyes on the water, always have eyes on our children first and foremost. Get in the water and start training, start learning. Once we start having that basic knowledge and respect of the water, safety builds, and that's the biggest thing. That's what we're about, building that confidence, building that safety from the ground up. That's our goal.
By keeping our attention on the water and those around it can help to avoid life-threatening events from happening. In Arizona, the pool can be a place to gather together and have fun during the hot summer months. But even when it isn't, it is important to remain safe and aware around water. In the Media Center, I'm Trey Bates, Cronkite News. A dream come true for twins Isaac and Marcus McDonald, being in uniform for senior night at Gilbert High School.
I like to show my team pride, work well with the team, see how well we can progress into the tournaments, see how much scouting reports we can get, and also great other opportunities.
Both brothers have been involved with the basketball team as well as other activities, showing off as much pride as they can.
Okay, it's the last home game. I wonder what it's going to be like for the atmosphere. And then out of nowhere, our student section shows up in full force, waiting for the twins to get in the game.
A lot of people don't realize this. It was about an 11-month process. Marcus and Isaac's dad is Coach McDonald. He's the head coach at Corona High School. Called him on the phone and said, hey, next year, senior night, your boys, we'd love to get them dressed up, maybe even get them in the game if it's possible. So just letting you know ahead of time. So it started maybe 10, 11 months before even that happened. And
Now preparing for the state final, the brothers show a difference in their support for the better.